So my name is Samantha Smith, and I run WWF's Global Climate and Energy Work. And I've just given a speech or participated in a panel at an event put on by the governments of Norway and the United Arab Emirates. Our view in WWF is that we need to make a transition as quickly as possible away from fossil fuels. So it's an interesting experience to be in this event, which was dominated by the fossil fuel industry and interests. In our view, these are the fuels of the past, and what we really need to be doing is to be working towards the fuels of the future, and those are renewable fuels. It's also energy efficiency, sometimes referred to as the fifth fuel, and it's very different ways of thinking about generating, distributing, and storing energy. One of the reflections that I personally have after participating in the negotiations here in Rio is a really deep sense of disappointment. Now, we are moving towards a world which is going to have 9 billion people on it by 2050. And what we're seeing right now is that there is more and more inequity in this world. There are more poor people. We have more people falling into poverty. We have more gender inequity. And we also have more and more constraints on resources and greater loss of biodiversity. And it is really shocking that world leaders come here and agree to a text when many of their own citizens are already suffering the consequences of climate change, of rising food prices, rising energy prices, and not having access to water. So we were actually hoping that in the last week or so that we would see world leaders take on board these issues, including leaders in developing countries, and that we would see much more ambition than we've gotten here. But what we instead have gotten some very fluffy commitments and really an agreement to come back and try to agree in 2015. And we expected better. We also expected better from the host government of Brazil. What this tells us is also the government, many of the same governments who sat here and committed to almost nothing, those governments are doing much more at home. And what this tells us is that this is also where we should be focusing. We should be focusing much more on those governments who are doing a lot at home.
Thank you very much.